Hello, this is Sergeant BB back with another Destiny video, or I should say Destiny information. By now I'm sure all of you, if not most of you, have seen the news that Bungie will no longer be doing updates to its live service game after the June 9th update. I think a lot of people were expecting different news, not that news. This broke today, approximately 1300. Everybody was getting ready for the TWID, getting excited for what was going to be in the June update, and the news had broke that, hey, this is what we're doing. So, although this isn't the news we wanted to hear, I'm happy that it's out. The months in darkness, the silent treatment, the whatever you want to call it. Yeah, this is taking the community by surprise. I've watched this news break literally almost every streamer. Azzacross, Dado, I've seen Glad put some things on Twitter. Sweat Schools has a video out. I was going to talk a little bit about some of the wording, but over the past couple of hours, some things have been popping up on Twitter that following this update, Bungie's going to be doing significant layoffs, which is not what anybody wants to hear. People were kind of hoping that, with not as many committed team members working on Destiny, that Destiny 3 would be in the works, or at least being thought about, but after reading some of these articles, it doesn't seem that Destiny 3 may even be a thought. But Sony Corporation Bungie unit is planning a significant number of layoffs as it ends development on the long-running online shooter game Destiny 2, according to people familiar with the studio's plans. The company doesn't have a new projected lineup for Destiny 2. Destiny 2's development team after the game comes to an end next month. According to the people who asked not to be identified because they weren't authorized to speak to the press, Bungie doesn't plan to immediately enter production on Destiny 3, they said. The number of cuts was not known. So that's kind of a little bit kick in the face. I was really hoping to get on here and speculate about a Destiny 3 being in the works with some of the verbiage that was used in today's TWID, but I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm at a loss for words. Destiny's gotten me through 2 divorces. I've made tons of friends. I've was sick at work for raid days. I've completed in, or completed, I've competed in all the day one raids. You know, that was the game that kept me insane. It was the game that kept me from going out and doing potentially uh, bad things. And to hear that, hey, like it's done, kind of sucks. Um, there's no other game like this. There have been many that have tried. Anthem, The Division, which is kind of making a comeback. I remember when they talked about Anthem being the Destiny killer, and Anthem just couldn't get it done. And Destiny's always been that game to come back, play with friends, conquer new challenges, gear up, grab that loot that you wanted, and rinse and repeat and wait for the next DLC. And it was a solid foundation for people like content creators that just they could fall back on it. And it's not there anymore, which raises questions as to why Sony and Bungie haven't talked about making a D3. The money aspects there, Destiny is due for an overhaul. I mean, we're running on the Tiger engine. This is something that could be upgraded to Unreal. I know a lot of people don't want to hear me say this, but subscription base with the right team around it, making good judgment calls, not leadership judgment calls. Things that are going to define how the game evolves, not what the creators want. It's got to be a team and community built game, not just a Bungie game. Although there may be great ideas, or you could have bad ideas like the Portal. Someone thought it was a good idea and it was a horrible idea. I don't know. I think if this truly is the end of Destiny, like there's nothing else, I think, us that have been around for years and years and have spent thousands of hours and probably over $1,000 on this game. I know I have. I bought it for console and PC. That's how much I liked it. I think we do deserve some answers. Some of those underlying, man, were they ever thought about? Were they ever true? Like the red subclass, that's been brought up for a while now. Was that actually ever a thought, or was it just a was D3 ever in the talks? And if so, what happened to it? And I really do feel that there is a world in which Destiny can thrive in. GTA's managed to do it. COD's managed to do it. Forza, sporting games, fighting games. I know they're different genres of games, but they've all found their place in the world. PUBG, Fortnite, um, but I really think like there is a world in which this game could exist for another 10 or 20 years. And I think if it's something that they're talking about, it would be nice to know that they're talking about it, not, well, we'll wait 5 years and wait to see. Um, but I think if it's to be a thing, I think a live service subscription would have to be there. I also think that for as much as the Destiny world has to offer, I think I would like to see another company or maybe two other companies to consistently work on DLCs instead of just one company having to manage it all. Like Call of Duty, for example, you know, what do you have? Sledgehammer, Treyarch, and I forget the other company, but they're all rotating. I think that's something that, with Destiny being a live service game on a subscription based model, I think that's something that it could potentially benefit from. And I don't mean, three different routes. I think there have to be a lot of team meetings and cohesions and building blocks to, hey, this is our starting point, this is our end point. Let's fill the middle segments in. Um, I know watching Rick Cackus, he was a little upset about it, especially before this wedding that he's going to be attending. And a lot of people, they've met their significant others through Destiny. They've made their life out of Destiny. As to I have. I'm not a streamer. I'm not a content creator. I'm not doing any of this for money. I guess I'm just being the voice of the community. Um, so it's heartbreaking, you know. It's it's sad to see this end, and nobody wants it to end. And I guess that's a part of life in a funny way. I said all great things do come to an end, but I don't know. You know, I've uh, I've certainly enjoyed the hours I've put into this game. Um, I don't know. I don't think Steam hours. Wish I could find how many hours on Xbox I've put into this. So I've put some numbers into this game, boy. That's cool. 2,557 hours. And I have to have almost equal amount of time on that for Xbox. Plus all my D1 time. I don't know, man. I really, I really hope there's a future for Destiny. I think there's a world in which it can thrive in. I think given the right leadership and the right tools and resources, they have the ability to learn from the mistakes from the past and are able to capitalize on them and produce something that's a fully functional game to play for years. Nobody wants this to end. Okay, people weren't sold on the Fate saga, but you know what? There's room for improvement. There's room to involve it. I want to know what happens. I want to know, you know, what's going to happen with the nine. What's going to happen with us? Gambit. I've been waiting for this Gambit update forever. And I'm going to play the shit out of the June 9th update, and I guess I'll be at a loss for a while. There's just, you got your filler games, and the filler games, they know that they're filler games. They know that, hey, they'll be here for a month or two, they'll leave for a little bit, and they come back. And then you got your main games like Destiny. I don't want it to end. I'm okay with Destiny 2 coming to an end, but as a franchise as a whole, that's something I'm not willing to swallow. I really hope, and I doubt this video will go anywhere besides 5, 10. Maybe I'll get up to 30 or 40 views this time. But, I really hope Sony and what's left of Destiny, or Bungie, I should say, if they are going to do layoffs, which in a time like this, nobody deserves to be laid off. Nobody. And, this is, Bife had said it best, a lot of people or content creators, they thrive off this game. So Destiny shutting down is like an avalanche, and one thing shuts down, the next, and it trickles down to it hits the bottom till it stops. So not only are people at Bungie going to be affected by this, but content creators as well. And especially at a time where gas is almost $5 a gallon. I don't know. Here it's $4.70 in Pennsylvania, but just it sucks that things like this are going to happen. But surely Sony knows that this is I don't want to say money pit, but this game has potential to bring the buck. And for whatever reason, they just don't want to pull the trigger. Or at least it hasn't been announced yet. I wouldn't think that we would see layoffs coming in, it's just kind of shocking that Bungie reportedly planning significant layoffs after ending Destiny 2 development, with the new report claiming Destiny 3 is not currently in production. I think that's another thing that, I don't want to say entitled, but, for us to have spent the hours and the money and we've been there through the good and bad, I think someone, depending on, from either company really, should at least like talk about these things. Like why is this not a green light? Why is this not a thing? You know, are we in fear of the future, of the unknowing? Are we thinking about something else? You know, I think we've tried this something else, and Marathon definitely isn't it. And I'm not hating on Marathon. I play Extraction Looters, but Marathon is not the key. It's not. I would have rather you put an extraction shooter inside Destiny. You know, bring take me to Ziva Wrath's home planet and let me extract illegal armor or loot out of that place. Send me back to the Dreadnought. Send me anywhere. Give me a reason to lose stuff out of my vault. But there's got to be a bigger overall purpose of why D3 is just not a green light thing. You know? And I mean, hey, Bungie, Sony, if you guys, anybody ever watches this, hey, you want to sell Destiny IP? Hit me up. Hit me up. I will put together a team. We will make Destiny 3. I'm not saying I'm a professional game maker, but you know what? I think the 12 years I spent in the service, the 12 years I spent working at a correctional state facility, you know, the time in between all that stuff, I think I have the leadership, communication, and determination skills to be able to put something together like this and not feel like it's something for me. Because it's not. It's for everybody around the world, you know? And I'm sure at one time or another, you know, the management team at Bungie had a good perspective on which way they were going to go, and you know they lost their way. But I really think I had the skills to put together a team to make something like this. But I think I'll touch on a few things from this TWID. I am happy to see the director back. I think this doesn't tell the story of Destiny, but I think it's a great start to what is Destiny, you know, and to have the director back and see all the planets and, you know, I just gets me going. Scrolling down a little bit, we see Pantheon 2.0. Old raid bosses, I'm just saying. To fight Callus in the year 2026, woo-wee! Let's slap that ass. I'm gonna fucking slap that ass. After he slaps Spawn a couple times, of course. Updated raid and dungeon loot. That's gonna be awesome. There was where was it? Let me look on my phone. One second here. I know I took a screenshot of it. Do 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 do. What was this at? Trial. Below you'll find a laundry list of features and bullets, but expect further blog breakdowns to give the full picture, and of course a few surprises for you to find on launch day 2. I'm actually really curious about that. You know, I see that. I see Leviathan, raid bosses, Crown of Sorrow, Eater of Worlds, Leviathan. Did they potentially bring back those raids? Is there a potential Red War campaign back in Destiny 2? Woo! Wouldn't that be fire? I'm trying to see if there's any little Easter eggs on here, but I don't see any. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. Curious about some of these weapons. Sunshot, Thousand Voices, Collective Obligation maybe? No, I'm not sure what that one is. I was really hoping that, you know, after we completed Pantheon, that it was going to say, hey, congratulations, D3's on its way. But that doesn't seem to be the case. Or at least right now it doesn't. The rumors, right? They may be just false rumors. Destination trip down memory lane. Destination weapons and armors have also been revisited to bring them to modern standards with full tier parity, set bonuses, new perks, and more. New aspects. This could be fun. I really, I was talking with the new master clan that I'm in, and, if this is the last hurrah, let's just send it. Like, let's not hold back. Let's just send it. And, a lot of this, I like what I see so far. Sparrow Racing League returns. Woo-wee! About to spank that ass, too. About to spank that ass. Excuse me. I just... A lot of good updates. Man, this can't be the last hurrah. Like, it can't be, right? Like, I grew up with this game. I was so excited when, the Destiny 1 launch was happening, and, well, it got delayed first on Xbox, and then it came out, and, first I was like, I had fun, and then I met people at my work, and they were like, oh, hey, you play Destiny? I was like, yeah, I got it. And we started gaming, and then, Vault of Glass, and just, man, all the great times. I don't know. Bungie, Sony, if anyone's hearing this of importance, it's cool to let this die, but it's not cool to let the Destiny franchise die. It deserves a proper final ending, and I think the only way you get that is by doing D3 and letting us all run wild. I personally think that if the layoffs and all this is true, I think you guys are making a huge mistake. With the amount of people that have been advocating for a new Destiny, and their followers and their family and their friends, and the amount of new people that you could bring into an updated 2028 Destiny franchise, I think would kill it. And I think hell, I'll even help invest into it. I'm just ready to see this franchise just say, nah, we're done. That's it. Close up shop. Wash your hands. Make sure you shut the lights out when we're done, because I don't think that should happen. And are you really going to let Anthem 2.0 come along and take all your people? No. No, you're not. But I feel for the people that may lose their jobs. I feel for the people that are going to have to change their work life to new things. And I fear for the challenge of finding a new game to replace Destiny, because this is what we've all come to love and play and brought us together. It fit right in. But I hope what I'm reading is wrong. I hope there is a future, and I hope that there's things to come. But until then, all we can do is sit here and speculate, and hopefully the speculations come true and we have something to look forward to down the road. Leave a comment. Give me a thumbs up. You don't have to. I mean, I'm not trying to make money or get YouTube backing or anything like that, but I don't know. What would you like to see in Destiny 3? Destiny's always been that, hey, we want the player to take control. We want them to go out there and find things and experience things. And Destiny is due for a very much upgraded scale to keep up with the times. Drop me a comment. What would you like to see if Destiny ever became a thing? Or, leave a comment. Do you think it is or is not going to be a thing? But we'll see. Plan on, I'm going to post my very first Destiny video when Pantheon 2.0 goes live. My first and only, probably. So, thanks for watching. Don't forget, I'm Sergeant BB.